Traditionally on the channel, I've been focusing my list videos on the $1,000 and under price point. This is largely because it's where I do most of my own purchasing and where I feel I can provide the most insight. However, what if you're on a tighter budget but still want a high quality timepiece on your wrist that you can rely on? Well, that's the aim of this video, to highlight what are, in my opinion, the 10 best watches money can buy for under $100. I really wanted to challenge myself with this video, so I'm going to be very stringent with the rules I'm going to follow. They are: the watch must be available for under $100 brand new, but this can include discounts, coupons and any other promotions. The other real challenge I want to set for myself is that each brand can only feature once. I don't want to make this list with 10 Casios on it. I want to give you some variety and show what you can get on a tight budget. Not a rule per se, but I've also tried to find as much scope as possible when it comes to forms and movements. I'll run through the models in ascending price order, and with all that said, let's get into the video. I don't know how well this will translate to US viewers. In the UK, TK Maxx has a watch section that often stocks older Mondain, Tissot, Oris, Citizen and Hamilton models among others. Sometimes the discounts applied are ridiculous, and I was able to pick this model up for roughly 80% off recommended retail price. It's a quartz watch at this price, but if you're looking for some Bauhaus design on your wrist, it still packs that iconic look and style of its brand stablemates at a fraction of the cost. Not only that, but it actually came with 2 straps and a carrying case. Absolute bargain. Now I will start by saying that prices this low are uncommon. I've quoted $45 as this is how much I paid for mine, but that was the culmination of a sale, voucher and gift card promotion on Amazon. However, I still think it's safe to feature this model on the list as there were a huge number of models available below the $100 mark at the time of recording. If you can find one anywhere near the price I paid, the value proposition is incredible. An automatic Japanese movement, fully stainless steel construction, 200 meters of water resistance, a date complication with a Cyclops, on a bracelet with an exhibition case back for around $50 is bonkers. It does come with a couple of drawbacks. Some models have the rather unsightly inscription of the brand on the side, and if you're not into homages, clearly it's a no-go. If neither of those things bother you though, this is incredible value and you can get far nicer colorways than the one I did. While it might not be to everyone's tastes, perhaps even mine included, I want to try and be as broad as possible with this list. The nostalgia that Armitron Griffey gives off is palpable, and it puts me in mind of the original Hamilton Pulsar models. Armitron have really lent heavily into that retro vibe with the colourways they've made available, and I think it's a really cool touch that you can pick between different display colours as well as making a decision on the case. If you're after a budget slice of retro chic, look no further. As I said at the start, you could quite easily make a video like this entirely out of Casio models. The choice I've gone for is a pretty obvious one, given the popularity of the octagonal range recently, but there is a little more subtlety to the choice than you might first think. The GMA S2100 series is a nice middle ground between the biggest and smallest 8-sided models currently available, and one that's going to suit most wrist sizes. I've owned the bigger models in the past, and while I love the design, they are just too big to look sensible for me on wrist for daily wear. I think a bigger watch makes a lot more sense when you're using it in an active way, any kind of physical activity where you want to catch the time at a glance. So for me, I tend to wear larger watches when I'm running or swimming. For daily wear, a smaller watch is going to be lighter, fit under clothes better, and isn't going to get knocked as often. That's why I've opted for the GMA S2100 over the original GA2100 models. The new P2100 models are smaller, but hard to find under $100, come in limited colourways at the moment, and don't have the day indicator of their older siblings. The other benefit of the GMA S2100 series is you're going to be spoilt for choice when it comes to those colour options. While the usual RRP of these models sits just below the $200 mark, unsold old stock versions do regularly pop up in sales for considerably less. I'm featuring this particular colourway as it's the version I bought a couple of years ago, combining a sale with a discount code to get well over 60% off. Now, it might not be the most appealing colourway, it certainly isn't to my eye, but having never owned a gold tone watch of any kind before, I gave it a go, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. I used it mainly as a beta watch, so apologies if it isn't in the best condition, but as a result, I wore it a lot more than I ever initially intended to. Now, if it isn't to your taste, the good news is there are a lot of other different colour variants, many of which will also come up for sale from time to time. The watch itself is a cut price slice of 1970s watch design. It provides a good dose of that integrated sports watch look at a fraction of the cost. The one drawback is the bracelet, which can be a bit of a hair ripper, which is why you can see I've moved mine onto a colour matched NATO strap instead. A swatch was always going to feature on a list like this. They buck the trend when it comes to Swiss watchmaking, as they're really one of the only truly affordable brands on the market. I've picked out the Swatch Clearly Gent for a few reasons. Firstly, it bucks the Swatch trend for being oversized, as it's available in 34mm. But if you do prefer the bigger sizes, there's also a 41mm version. It's transparent, so like having an exhibition case back, you get a good look at what's going on if you wanted to learn more about horology. And finally, it puts me in mind of a range of watches that I cannot for the life of me remember the name of, with the same colour scheme used for its handset. Hopefully, someone in the comments can tell me what I mean from my awful drawing, because it's really bugging me that I can't remember the name or find it online. I have one of these watches on order at the moment. With full disclosure here, there has been over a month's delay in delivery from Treewer themselves. I'm not quite sure why. It has to be a distribution issue, as they have a banner on their website saying that at the moment they can only deliver within Sweden. And I think it's a shame I haven't got it in hand yet to feature in this video, but nonetheless I do think it has a really strong value proposition and is worthy of featuring in this video. What you're getting here is a colourful 37mm watch with a Miyota quartz movement, 100 meters of water resistance, a textured dial, and a fairly unique selling point in this price range. The watch case and strap are made from recycled ocean plastic. I'm all for environmental conservation, but what I don't appreciate from horological brands are companies who are selling recycled ocean plastic like it's a premium material and pricing it as such. I find that to be somewhat counterintuitive, and I think the way Treewer has priced their models is a lot fairer and more genuine. Not only that, but it's more accessible and will therefore have more of an impact as a result. I don't mind paying a bit extra to help the environment. I do mind paying a lot extra for no real reason. Clearly another homage, but one that's far better than its price tag might indicate. I reviewed this particular model earlier this year, and it was so good it made up my mind about buying the real deal. One word of caution with these models though, Pagani have updated them several times since their inception, and you'll often see them labelled as V1 through to V5 and so on. Pagani Design have been making incremental improvements to the watch, so essentially the higher the number you're buying, the better the overall watch will be. There are a number of colourways available at this price point, and as with many watches on this list, the specifications are incredible for the price. But rather than focusing on that, I just wanted to mention the look and build quality of these models. Now clearly, Pagani cannot take any credit for the way these watches look, but at the same time, it's hard to deny that they look way better than the price would indicate. What Pagani can take credit for is how well put together and finished these models are. Laurus are a Seiko brand aimed towards the budget end of the market. As a result, these watches are effectively in-house Seiko models, which should give you some confidence in terms of build quality, durability and finishing compared to smaller and lesser known companies. This Loris is a stainless steel watch on a matching stainless steel bracelet with mineral crystal, 100 meters of water resistance, a 60-minute bezel, day-date complication, and it has an automatic movement with an exhibition caseback, all under the $100 price point. While there are other watches on the list with impressive specifications, none of them come from a brand as big as Seiko. Having said that, while I think this watch is a great deal, there are some compromises here, and they aren't necessarily where you'd think either. The main compromise for me is dimensions. While you're getting great value, you're not necessarily getting great refinement. This is a 42mm diameter watch, which is also 14mm thick. So while I do think it's a great deal, it will only really suit the larger wristed in the audience. As far as the looks go though, this puts me in mind of my Grand Seiko GMT, and that's no bad thing. Now, I'll come clean on this one. It is possible to get an Eco Drive from Citizen under $100, but the price I'm quoting here is for a warehouse model on Amazon with damage to the packaging. So if you search for this model, you might find it coming in just over the $100 mark. Regardless, I do think it is worth the tiny bit of extra outlay to get an Eco Drive over a regular quartz model. Not only because you won't have to replace the battery, but also just because the technology is cool to own. This is a 36mm white dial gold tone dress watch on a leather strap with day-date functionality and a 5-year warranty. So for the price of a department store fashion watch, you're getting something with far more longevity that looks the part for formal events and has a respected brand name on the dial to boot. There are a couple of models on this list that have dedicated reviews on my channel already, and I'll leave links to those in the description if you're interested. I really enjoy trying to work on such a tight budget, and I hope you can see I've really tried my best to think about watches for all occasions. I wanted to cover as many bases as possible for as many different situations as I could think of. Having said that, I'm sure there are models I've overlooked, so if you think there are other watches more deserving of being on the list than what I've gone for, let me know in the comment section below. I'm also open to suggestions with these list videos, so if there is something you want to see from me, let me know. As ever, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen or found it informative, consider leaving the video a like and subscribing if you want to see more content like this.